Right, I'm just going to go through and, well, that's not hot, sorry, remove the rest of those solder blobs. Big bertha is here, all warmed up, ready to go. And desoldering gun as well. So let's get this thing cleaned up. Well, that's most of that gone then. So the rest of it is just easy enough to scrape off, look, and tidy up, clean up. You can see there's so much solder ended up in there. So there you go. Very cool, very happy. Clean all that out. Now I can carry on prepping the chassis. God, it does get hot. Get some isopropyl alcohol out and keep this thing cleaned. Keep this thing... I can't even know what I'm saying now. Keep the progress on this continuing. Get it cleaned. Then I can work on debending it, getting it straight again. You can see there's quite a bit of stretch in that. We've got the classic bend here, as you always have. Our transformer mounts are, of course, bent. You can see that one there. These two are lifted up, these two are pushed in, so we have to straighten that out somehow. Think about our rust spots as well. There's got to be something we can use on that. And yeah, make some progress. But it's coming along now. Coming along quite nicely. I need to see if I can get an IEC socket to fit here. Rather than have the voltage selector, I'm just going to have our main an IEC socket. So I need to check to see whether one fit. Let me go get one. Right, so we've got three options really when it comes to IEC socket. This is the standard type with no inbuilt fuse holder. But as you can see, there's still gaps around it, which is not really allowed. Plus, I think that looks crap. Whichever way you try and orientate it, it's not going to work. The other type is the one that we use for bulging replacements. They're shaped slightly differently. That one does cover the hole almost entirely, but and this hole lines up. I would need to drill or enlarge another hole here. And if we go this way, side on, we end up still with a socket that it just doesn't. I know fingers aren't going to get in there, but someone could still come in and prod a hole, right? The other option is the IEC socket that does have the inbuilt fuse holder, which doesn't currently fit through that hole, but you can see completely covers everything up. You'll have that tiny hole there, which we can put a screw in or something. Sorry, a mounting or something. I think that's the answer there. I think we go for an IEC socket like this, repurpose the original fuse holder as a B+ fuse. That'd be a good thing to do, wouldn't it? The alternative I could do is refit the voltage selector, and then that completely covers all those holes up, of course, and then we maybe one like that there on the end of the chassis, or that one. Yeah, I think it would be the bulging type. Will that go? It's tight, but I think it will. And that way I retain the voltage selector for the vintage look. I haven't got any exposed holes, and then we've still got an IEC socket that we can still access and plug into. I think that's my preferred option. So we refit the voltage plate. Obviously it's not going to work because I'm hardwiring it for 260 volt, but we fit a socket like that. I'll have to check whether my punch is correct for that size. Probably the same. I think it is. I think we'll be okay. I think that's the answer. So we're going to fit one of those because I don't want a hardwired mains cable. I want an IEC socket. Time for us to have a think about the head cabinet and what we're going to do about that. Now, I know thinking is dangerous, but bear with me. I think I've found a solution. So I think it's important to try and save this cabinet and reuse it if we can. Because I think the shell of it is still in good condition, still quite sturdy. Obviously, it's going to need a recover, new or refurbished hardware, usual stuff like that. It's still got the tube chart in the valve chart, and on the shielding at the top, it's still got the original chassis serial number. So I do want to retain that, but as we know, this front baffle, it's coming apart, it's in bits, it's cheap, it's nasty, it's just knackered look, right? So this is going to have to be replaced. So it's not going to just need a recover, it's going to need new baffle and obviously grill cloth. You can see how bad that is, look at that. So yeah, we're going to have to get it done, but I want to keep the shell's still good, and once all the Tolex is removed, I'll be able to do a proper inspection of the shell. I can't see why the shell itself couldn't be reused, but I'm going to remove the old Tolex and do that inspection first. Then what I'm going to do is send it off, get a new front baffle made. I'm going to retain the slits. I think that's important. There's a reason they're there. Same with the side vents. So we're going to keep those, but get this thing recovered, obviously in the correct Tolex, correct grill cloth, new corners and whatnot, as it should be. I think, you see, looking at pictures of the original, I think the corners should have been on the bottom side, which makes sense, and the top side didn't have corners, but this guy decided to fit the corners on the top, which is not correct. So we're going to have to get those, a new set of corners, I think, because these ones are just gone. I suppose I could strip them down and send them off for chrome plating, but it's going to be more expensive than a genuine set of Fender corners. So yeah, probably not going to do that. Those holes will need to be doweled, I think, of course. So I was just measuring this thing up. I know, it's an American thing, so it's going to be imperial freedom units, but so look at that, that's 26 and 3/8, maybe, give or take a few. Probably 26 and a quarter plus the width of the Tolex. Bear with me. Yeah, so 26 and a quarter plus the width of the Tolex. But if you look, that comes out at 666 mil, 667 mil. Okay, interesting. 667. Now, look what I found on the internet. I have found that Modulus does a Fender style 2x12 cabinet made out of birch ply, and it's 671 millimeters wide, so it's going to be ever so slightly wider than the head cabinet, so we're not going to get any overhang. That's good news. Now, it's actually deeper than the standard Fender cabinets, so it's going to have quite a bit of bass response. Now, in the bass cab that I use, it's not actually a bass cab, it's a guitar cab, but it's a 2x12, and I love the sound of 12-inch bass speakers. I've got a nice set of Neo Celestians in there. 300 watts each, so I've got 600 watts power handling, which is going to be more than enough for that bass head, right? So I think that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to get Modulus to make me one of these cabs, 2x12. I might ask him to make it the same size, width-wise as the head cab, just so there's that uniformity there. I think that's a good thing to do. It's got side handles, and that's going to be great. I think that's the solution now. And if he covers it with the same Tolex and grill cloth as he's going to do on the head when he restores the head, it's going to be matching, right? I think that's the solution. That's what I wanted. I don't want a 2x15 cab. I don't want a 410. I love the sound of 12-inch bass speakers. Not everyone does. It's not for them, but I really do. I think you get the best of everything, and you kind of get, especially with a valve amp, you kind of get that mid-range sweetness, which you don't get with like a 4x10. I think that's the solution. So I think that's what we're going to do. So he can make a new baffle for the head cabinet, and then make me a matching 2x12 speaker cabinet. That's much better. The other option that I looked at was getting an original cabinet for that amplifier, and it was available either with the 4x12 pyramid cab, which as far as I remember sound awful, or I could hunt down like a dual Showman cab, 2x15 or something like that, but I don't want to do that. I've already got the speakers in my other bass cab, so we're just going to use those. That's the way to do it, I think, and we're going to end up with a nice looking rig, combination of an old valve head with a modern built speaker cab, that's still going to be relatively lightweight. I mean, it's not going to be super lightweight, but I'm used to guitar stuff, so bass stuff doesn't make a difference really, does it? I don't need a lunchbox thing going around. I know you can now buy these these mini 2x8 bass cabinets that handle 1,000 watts or whatever they're doing. It's stupid now, but I want that big sound, I want that thump. I think that's the solution, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so condition of the shell itself is kind of as expected. We've got some splitting there where the glue starts to come undone, so it's all going to need to be re-glued back together and sorted out, but nothing that can't be done. Overall, it's in, I don't know, a 4 out of 10. Seen worse, seen better. Obviously, the baffle was being held together by screws, so you have to think about that. I did find, however, something was really cool on the rear of the cabinet. Underneath the shielding is some of the original Tolex, which is cool. The Tolex that was on it wasn't glued into place. It was just stapled, as you saw, and it was just one long piece. Just one long piece that they'd done. So I've spoken to Modulus. He's going to take it on. is going to make it structurally good. I mean, you can see the play in it there, can't you? Make it structurally good. It might need some new cleats as well, because that one's a bit movie. There's lots of broken glass underneath the Tolex that I found. Very interesting. But yeah, so he's going to take that on. We're going to try and rescue the tube chart and that sticker. I might take this shielding off and give it a clean, rather than send it to him. I can always reinstall that at a later date. That's absolutely no problem. So it's going to need new baffle, glue them back together, full recover, and he's going to do a matching 2x12 base cab for me in that style that I showed you. So that's all good news. So that's my little treat to myself. It won't be till the new year now. Not sure when, but that's fine. It's not a problem. But overall, we're still going to end up... See, I thought these were finger jointed. I know the earlier ones were, but this one, clearly not. Do you call that a butt joint? I don't really know my woodworking. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, good plan. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you at the next one.